Hello, everyone, and thank you in advance for your listening. My name is Hugo Macabre, and these are Stories to be Murdered by... As the title suggests, this album is for your listening enjoyment while you are being murdered. Consider them bedtime stories and lullabies to prepare you for a permanent sleep. If you were invited as a guest into someone's home and they chose to put this record on, well, I'm sorry you had to find out this way. Or, if you were under the impression that, rather than listening while being murdered by someone, that these stories are meant to be the cause of your murder, that the stories themselves are murderers, that would murder you in cold blood, and there would be an impossible investigation to solve your homicide case, which would be turned into a podcast-limited series to stir up public interest to track down your killer, but even the most paranormal detectives would never suspect the stories did it, then I apologize for the confusingly phrased title. And I applaud your bravery in pushing play. It is also entirely possible to enjoy these stories without involving murder at all. You may wish to listen just for a laugh, or a good scare, or to poke fun at death, who eventually makes a mockery of us all. The stories are meant to be both hilarious and nefarious, witty and wicked, horrific and goofy. Along the way, you may find yourself lost between comedy and horror. If at any point you are unsure which you are experiencing, simply open your mouth and force out a noise. Here, I'll try it now. Ooh, it seems I'm a bit scared. Although, I don't know what I have to be frightened of, it's only the sound of my own voice. Oh, wait, let me try now. Oh, there, I've returned to a state of comedy. And so, dear listeners, murderers, and murderees, make yourself as comfortable as your circumstance will allow as we begin. And remember, laughter is just a highly punctuated scream.
From the manor on a hill on the outskirts of the town, a diabolic couple is making their way down. They need body parts, organs that are fresh. They're running low on hearts and they're completely out of flesh. You better run, 'cause here they come. Psychotic mad scientists to kill you just for fun. And back at the lab, they'll take a stab at reviving your dead body with the brain of a crab. It's the harvest season. It's the hardest season to survive. It's the harvest season. Will you make it out alive? Just before the dawn, with carcasses in tow, the psycho killer couple will retire to their home. And once inside their lair, the horrors that precede, experiments that Frankenstein would shudder to conceive. Are you deceased? For now at least, they're mixing up your body parts with chemicals and beasts. Open up your eyes, yes you're alive, but see what you've become and then you'll wish that you had died. It's the harvest season. It's the hardest season to survive. Harvest season. Will you make it out alive? A Tesla coil heart, body of a whale, gorilla millipedal and a scorpionic tail. Unholy, unnatural, pure evil given birth, and it was your brain that fit perfectly and finally made it work. The task is complete, now they can sleep. The couple has succeeded in their wickedest defeats. You could have run, what's done is done. The harvest moon is slowly turning into morning sun. See you next year. When it draws near, you'll know exactly what the creature is that you should fear. In the harvest season, it's the hardest season to survive. Harvest season. Will you make it out alive? It's the harvest season. It's the hardest season to survive. It's the harvest season. Will you make it out alive?
Tilda McFlowery was spending the night for the very first time in her new home, which she had just purchased at an excellent price. It was a lovely 2-story house with an unfinished basement but a finished garage. And it was in a beautiful neighborhood that anyone would want to live in. The same could not be said for Tilda's new house. It seemed almost no one wanted to live in that house. It had been on the market for over a decade, in fact, and its asking price had been repeatedly slashed. Tilda had asked her realtor why this was the case, and the realtor explained.
Well, it's an old house, and this is a neighborhood rich with history, and also its fair share of rumors and gossip. Who knows how many years ago stories started circulating that the house was haunted? Some say that...
Oh.
Tilda interrupted the realtor.
Say no more. I'm not a gullible person, and I don't believe in such silliness. If that's all it is, then I'll take it.
Oh, yes. That's all it is,
said the realtor.
Perfect, then it's settled. I'm so excited to finally own my own home.
Congratulations, Tilda. I'm very glad you're not a gullible person.
Tilda was remembering this exchange fondly as she rested her head on the pillows of her bed, on the verge of falling asleep after an exhausting day of moving in. When suddenly, Tilda was brought back to full wakefulness by a voice. It said,
I'm under here.
Tilda raised her head to check the time on her bedside clock. It was midnight.
I'm under here,
said the voice again. Whoever it was sounded weak, like they might be hurt. It also sounded faint and thin, surely not coming from inside, Tilda thought.
Hello?
Hello. Please help.
The voice replied.
Are you injured? Where are you?
I'm under here.
The voice was clearly emphasizing the word here, but Tilda refused to ask under where because of an old joke that older kids used to torment her with when she was in grade school. The older kid would approach young Tilda while she was minding her own business and ask,
What are you eating under there?
An absurd question to ask someone while they were clearly not eating anything at the moment.
I'm not eating anything. I'm reading a book.
Nonetheless, it was the job of the asker to repeat.
No! What are you eating under there?
Until inevitably, young Tilda answered, as any reasonable person would.
Under where?
At which point, the older kids would exclaim,
Oh, ew! You're eating underwear? Oh.
Poor Tilda would become flushed red. And it was precisely because of this joke and the humiliation she felt each time she fell for it that she dedicated herself to becoming someone that was not gullible. She learned to have complete faith in her perception of what was and was not happening. Presently, she trusted her belief that whoever's voice she was hearing meant her no harm, and in fact needed her help.
I'm under here.
Wherever the voice was coming from, it was under somewhere. So Tilda checked the first place it could be. Slowly, she leaned over the side of her bed to look underneath.
I'm under here.
Under the bed was completely clear, but the voice did sound a bit closer. Tilda got out of bed and followed the sound of the voice. It led her to her dresser.
I'm under here.
She crouched to peer beneath the dresser and spotted a vent in the floor along the wall. The voice echoed from the vent.
I'm under here. Please help.
Hello? Whoever you are, just stay put. It's going to be okay. I'll come find you.
She began to search the house for the stranger in distress. Her bedroom was on the second floor, so there was still plenty of things they could technically be under. In the second-floor hallway, she found another vent.
Hello? Are you there?
Yes, hello. I'm under here.
Tilda made her way down to the first floor landing, where there was another vent.
Hello? I'm on the first floor now. Where are you?
I'm under here.
But where exactly? Please, I'm trying to get you help.
No. I'm under here.
Tilda looked in the living room, the bathroom, the pantry, the garage, the utility closet, the kitchen, and found nothing. But each time she passed a floor vent, the voice reassured her they were still there, or rather somewhere, under here. And there was still one big under to check, the basement. From the kitchen, Tilda opened the basement door.
Hello?
Hello, I'm under here.
The voice was now more clear than ever, no longer bouncing through the channel of a vent. It was certainly coming from down there. Tilda turned on the light switch at the top of the stairs. The light turned bright with a buzz and popped, leaving only a dim orange flicker.
Are you one of the movers? Or do you work for the realtor? The house has been sold. I live here now.
Please, help.
Are you able to move? The door's open now. You can come up.
But I'm under here.
Under what?
I'm under here.
Tilda took a deep breath, reminded herself that curses and ghosts and hauntings were silly things that only gullible people believed in, and started down the stairs.
Hello? I'm going to help you. Just tell me where you are.
Under here.
Tilda touched down on the cold cement floor of the basement. She looked around the room in the direction of the voice. It seemed to be coming from somewhere by the washer and dryer.
Oh no! Are you trapped behind the washer?
No, I'm not behind anything. I'm under here.
Under the dryer?
No, I'm under here.
The voice grew louder as she stepped closer, and a foul smell consumed the air. Where could they be?
Are you somewhere in the wall? Or a trap door?
No. Please. I'm under here.
Under where?
The voice bellowed and laughed a terrifying laugh as the very foundation began to tremble. The washer and dryer shook and vaulted forward. Out from behind them leapt the most disgusting pair of underwear briefs, alive with years and years worth of fungus, mold, and biohazardous growth.
Yes, I am underwear.
Oh no!
Tilda shrieked her final shriek and then collapsed, dead, from embarrassment. And the house went back up for sale the very next week. Are you dead yet? Oh, probably not. It's still early. But it's important to check in periodically. You may think that whether or not you're dead should be obvious to you, but I will have you know it can often be hard to tell. Especially if you're unsure whether the afterlife is meant to be more or less pleasant than your life. If you take the right combination of implosive politics, looming threats of civil war, nuclear war, ongoing war, a rapidly dying planet, global pandemic, and the rising popularity of Dalgona whipped coffee, the world can have a way of convincing us we've surely died and gone to hell. Where was I? Ah, yes. What does happen in the afterlife? Well, it's hard for anyone living to say for sure. But one thing I will tell you for certain. Ghosts are a thing. Which brings us to our next story. A ghost story. Danny, Jack, and Sally were all coming out of a ghost tour of a haunted house. Jack and Sally were laughing and exclaiming how thrilling it all was. Danny, however, was not.
Oh my God. I am not going to sleep tonight.
I know, that was so scary.
Way better than a haunted house.
I told you, ghost tours are the real deal. That house is legit haunted.
You guys are unbelievable. You bought into that garbage?
Wait, Danny, you didn't?
No, I'm an intelligent person. There's no such thing as ghosts.
Oh, brother.
Excuse me? So what, are we just idiots for believing in ghosts?
Your words, not mine.
I see how it is.
Sally, take it easy.
We're just big old dumbasses who believe in ghosts, and you're a friggin' genius because you don't?
You guys are free to believe whatever you want, but I've never believed in ghosts and I never will. There's nothing anyone can do to convince me.
Oh, really?
Sally, don't.
Maybe it's just some greater understanding I have about the world.
Ah, shit.
Danny, you're a ghost.
Good argument?
It's not an argument, it's a fact.
Sally, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, really? Here, hold Jack's cider.
Hey!
Sally grabbed Jack's cider and handed it to Danny, who tried to take hold of the cup of cider, but to Danny's surprise, the cup and the cider fell straight to the ground.
Oh my God, my hand went right through it.
Sally, there were a million ways to demonstrate that without wasting my cider.
Jack, what's going on?
I'm sorry, man. You're a ghost. It's true.
Oh my God, 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 this isn't real.
We weren't going to tell you, man, but you kind of provoked her, so that's on you.
I'm a ghost?
Honestly, I'm surprised you didn't figure it out for yourself sooner.
Who's stupid now?
How was I supposed to know?
There were kind of a lot of signs, man. Look at your feet.
Danny did look at his feet, and literally just noticed that they weren't touching the ground.
Holy shit, I'm floating!
Yeah, like a ghost.
Oh. Is this why I never got any laughs in our improv duo and people always came up to you and said you should do more solo shows?
No, you died after we stopped doing our duo.
Seriously?
Ha.
I'm dead.
Duh, how else would you become a ghost?
Hey, guys, I've got an idea. Let's just relax, go into the House of Mirrors, get me a new cider.
Hey, wait a minute. How did I die?
I killed you, okay?
What? Why?
Because you're so pompous. And we got into one of these stupid arguments, and I snapped, and I killed you.
Oh my God.
And you know what? I would do it again.
Do what again? You can't kill a ghost, dummy. Won that argument.
Dude.
You know, if you think about it, you're listening to ghost audio, because the CD is dead. And when it died, it gave rise to an ethereal form of digital music. Perhaps it's an encouraging thought. When we die, we might leave our physical forms and become an MP3, an M4A if we're lucky, or, if we're being punished, a WMA. Truthfully, the CD, cassette tapes, and even vinyl records are not completely deceased. Some people just refuse to let them die. To this day, many records can still be found on CD, cassette, and vinyl, ranging from Alfred Hitchcock's classic 1958 album Music to be Murdered By, to hot new releases like Eminem's 2020 album Music to be Murdered By. And, to confuse the point even further, our next story has been sort of modernized and sort of demodernized as it centers around the use of CDs and AOL Instant Messenger, but it also makes pop culture references from 2020. Try not to think too hard about it, and enjoy. 13-year-old Casey Desrook was so excited to listen to the brand new album Folk Songs by Schmaler Quift. Superfans of Schmaler Quift, or Quifties as they were called, were all freaking out over the new release. Casey and her best friends, Britt and Annika, were included. Casey had purchased the album as a compact disc, otherwise known as a CD, from a for-profit library, otherwise known as a Borders Books and Music store. She carefully unwrapped the CD case, making sure to keep the plastic intact, which carried a sticker naming the 2 singles, Sweater and October. Casey safely shut away in her bedroom sanctuary, placed the disc in her boombox, and updated her away message on AOL Instant Messenger. Anyone who tried to instant message her would instantly be met with a reply that read,
Listening to Schmaler on repeat till forever. Leave one.
spelling 1 with the number 1. Pressing play felt like the start of a long, beautiful marathon which Casey was ready for. Nothing could stop her from listening to folk songs on repeat, as her away message promised, till forever. Each song was better than the last, and she was sure to make note of initial impressions, which would be good talking points for all her friends and frenemies at school. Her popularity status amongst her 8th grade class group was on the line. Casey listened to the album a second time through, and then a third. As Casey listened through folk songs, she decided to leave an IM with Annika to see how her experience was going. Although Casey expected to see an away message from Annika, she did not expect to see it say,
Do not listen to Schmaler Quift folk songs 10 times in a row. I repeat, do not. I am horrified.
Casey was confused and a little tickled. This would give Casey ammo over Annika and allow her to finally reign queen as Bigger Quifty. She pressed on to her 4th listen-through, a 5th, and then a 6th. Suddenly, a knock at the door.
Honey, it's your mom.
Casey's mum popped in, which was totally awkward.
I know you said not to bother you while you're listening to your tape, but...
Mom! It's called a CD.
Okay, CD. I'm sorry. Your father is going to pick up KFC for dinner. Do you want anything in particular?
Though nothing could be more infuriating than her mother interrupting her listening marathon, Casey did in fact want
A number 4 with an extra biscuit. Now, please, I'm listening to the new Schmaler Quift album, Mom.
I know you are. Okay, love you, honey.
Casey turned up the volume on her boombox for her 7th listen and sent her second bestie, Britt, an instant message to check in. But Britt's away message was puzzling too.
Help! How could this happen? If you haven't listened to folk songs 10 times in a row yet, stop! I am serious. I am so scared.
What is this? Some kind of sick joke?
Casey couldn't believe Annika and Britt would try to sabotage her like this, but she wasn't going to fall for it. She went to corroborate with a couple other friends, but it looked like everyone had similar, chilling away messages.
Don't listen to folk songs more than 10 times. My life is over and I burn the CD.
Stop listening to Schmaler before it's too late. Please, save yourself.
Casey was unsettled, but she played on into her 8th listen. Nothing was going to stop her from listening to this album straight through, 10 times or 100 times, or until forever. Except the delivery of a number 4 with an extra biscuit from her dad.
Hey kiddo, chicken time.
Dude!
Embarrassing and awful. She was in the middle of dancing around to the song Grace and Im Bumble's dad. Has no one heard of knocking?
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt, but your mother and I decided that because it's a special night for you listening to your new Discman record.
CD, boombox, album.
Okay, whatever it is, just enjoy it. And here's your number 4 with an extra biscuit.
Oh, nice.
All right, be safe, sweetie.
As Casey finished her dinner, she also finished her 9th listen. By now, she knew much of the lyrics and riffs, and was starting to really get a lot of the connections between songs. Seriously, the songwriting was undeniable. Casey was ready to listen to the album for her 10th time. She had shivers in her spine thinking of the ominous away messages left by everyone in her social circle. Everyone worth caring about, anyway. She took a deep breath and pushed play. This might have been the best listening yet. Everything felt so cohesive on so many levels. Casey was at a pinnacle of contextual understanding and appreciation for the record. Or, album, rather. The final song played, and the music came to a satisfying rest. Casey braced herself for some mysterious doom. But nothing happened. Casey sighed with relief and moved to start the album again for the 11th time. But suddenly, a knock at the door. In walked her parents, smiling suspiciously giant smiles. Her mom looked at Casey dead in the eyes and said,
"We've heard you playing that Schmaler Quift album over and over, so we picked up a copy to see what the fuss is about. Honey, it is so great."
We really get why you love it so much, kiddo. We love it too. I guess you could say we're Quifties.
Her parents were fans of the same music, a fate worse than death.
Young rigor mortis was more than content to lay in his bed till the day had been spent. They say he had been this way ever since birth. He never would move were it not for the earth. When he was born, he was stubbornly still, his heart beating arguably against his will. His laziness lingered on into his youth. He spent all his time lying, and that was the truth. For most kids, there weren't enough hours in the day. They explored and they learned and they worked and they played. But rigor mortis did his best to every day do less and less. The children were all growing up, rigor mortis decided he'd grown up enough. Eventually he perfected his art of restraining his movements and resting his heart. So woefully motionless there in his bed, his parents apparently thought he was dead. But they couldn't bear to bury him, so they left him there and abandoned their home. No signs of life aside from his breath, young rigor mortis was courted by death. The Grim Reaper greeted him, questioning why he chose to be frozen if he was alive. Rigor mortis then finally moved to reply, if living means moving, then I'd rather die. And so the Grim Reaper then granted his wish and made rigor mortis immortally stiff. He took life for granted and now he is cursed to stalk in the wake where death has been first. Led by dark horses he scours the earth, collecting dead corpses in a nightmarish hearse. Live life to the fullest, get up and go play. Make the most of all of your days. Know if you linger too long in your bed, rigor mortis might come and mistake you for dead.
Congratulations on making it past the halfway mark of our storytelling engagement. Time does fly when you're having fun. Although, I must say, as the storyteller, it can be rather hard at this point to keep things lively. Oh, what a rude turn of phrase for me to use. I just mean to say that I'm glad the job is half done. I'm always the type who's living for the weekend. What I mean is, I'm glad I'll be alive this weekend. No, I mean I'm glad I'll be alive this weekend. Not that everyone needs to be, you know. It's just good to have a healthy work-life balance. I only mean that this is what I do for a living. I mean, not for the living. Or yes, I do this for the living. Until they're dead. Yes. I'm really digging my own grave here. Okay, moving on to our next story. One October morning at the office, Emily, soon to be dead, opened up her work laptop, apathetic about another day in marketing. She pulled up her Outlook calendar to see what sort of humdrum was on the schedule for the day.
9:30 a.m. product check-in with the development team, boring. 10:30 a.m. strategy evaluation with Dan, should have prepared more. 12 p.m. meeting with Death, weird. 3 p.m. team, wait, what? 12 p.m. meeting with Death, who put that on there?
Emily looked suspiciously at Raymond, a neighboring co-worker. She balled up a gum wrapper and threw it at Raymond to get his attention.
Hey, do you have this Death meeting on your calendar?
A very fair and simple question, but Raymond was a bumbling dum-dum.
Oh, yeah, well, wait, what?
Emily showed Raymond the meeting invitation, but Raymond shrugged it off like it was no big deal.
Oh. Halloween is coming up. It's probably just the engagement team trying to be festive.
Right. A joke meeting with Death. It's festive.
Just then, another neighboring co-worker, Liana, poked her head over the cubicle wall.
Hey, Emily. Gee, you're jumpy.
Liana was more bubbly than bumbling, but that was just as bad to Emily this early in the morning.
You want to do lunch today?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm totally down for lunch. Yeah, let's go someplace. I feel like I'm going to need to get out at some point today.
Oh, heck yeah. I've been dreaming of those Caesar salads from Chopped. They are to die for. Want to do that?
Do what?
Die.
Gasp.
Just kidding. Do you want to go to Chopped for lunch, silly?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
Okay, great. I just have to be back by 1 p.m. How about we go at noon?
Noon was the exact time of Emily's meeting with Death. Coincidence, thought Emily? Yeah, freaking right.
Oh, I see. Sorry, Leanna. I can't do a noon lunch because I have a meeting with Death at noon.
What is your problem?
Nothing. It's you. You scheduled me for a meeting with Death. Very funny.
I don't know what you're talking about. I would never joke about Death, and I would rather die than miss lunch.
Well, somebody put this meeting on my calendar. Look.
Emily showed Liana the appointment with Death, but like Raymond, Liana was way too chill about it.
Creepy. Okay, so just get rid of it. Gotta get back to work. See you at noonsy.
Emily tried her hardest to delete the meeting with Death from the 12 p.m. time slot. She tried selecting it and hitting the delete key. It didn't work. She tried right-clicking and deleting. It didn't work either. She tried overwriting the time slot with her noon lunch, but it was rejected. Then she tried 12:30. No luck there. And for some reason, everything on her calendar after 1 p.m. was just grayed out, unavailable. WTF. Emily's 9:30 meeting with the development team came and went, with Emily unable to focus on anything but the mysterious appointment with Death. She typed out a message to Margot, her friend in engagement, and sent a screenshot, asking,
Hey, Margot, what is the deal with this meeting?
To which Margot replied,
Haha, IDK, not us. I would just delete it.
Ugh, classic Margot.
Now I know you don't know Margot, but it really was classic Margot to be so unhelpful. During her 10:30 a.m. meeting with Dan, Emily stumbled through the ad strategy she had rushed to complete the night before. It wasn't her best work.
Yeah, Emily, I'm a little concerned with the status of this pitch. Do you mind if we extend this meeting and keep working on it? I can go until noon if you can.
I don't know. I have a meeting with Death at noon and I can't move it.
Dan did not find this amusing. Not only because it wasn't a joke, but because Dan was something of a wet blanket with no sense of humor whatsoever.
Okay, you don't have to be sarcastic, Emily. If it's truly the end of the world, just forget about it.
It was 11:30. A pop-up reminder of her 12 p.m. meeting with Death showed up on her screen. Emily checked the details of the meeting, but there weren't any. Not even a location. She repeatedly dismissed the notification, but it came up again and again. It was 11:45. Emily decided to call IT to see if they had an answer.
IT, this is Kendrick. How can I help you?
Don't get me started on Kendrick.
Hey Kendrick, this is Emily soon to be dead. I'm hoping you can help me. I have this weird meeting on my calendar at noon. I didn't put it there, I don't know who did, and I can't get rid of it or make any other appointments while it's there. Is there a way for you to go in and reset things or just free up the schedule?
Sounds buggy. Let me go in and see what I can do. I'll call you back as soon as I have an update.
Cool. Please hurry.
Hey, the wait won't kill you.
Actually, hello?
Not cool, Kendrick. Emily had become filled with dread. She grabbed her purse and started to head out, feeling it was best for her to be anywhere but here. As she moved to the exit, a ceiling tile crumbled and fell on the floor in front of her with deadly force. This was weird because the ceiling tiles never seemed to be crumbly before. The material wasn't that heavy, and the ceiling wasn't that high. Emily went back to her desk to call building maintenance, but just as she set her hand on the phone...
Hello?
Miss Soon-to-be-Dead, it's Kendrick from IT.
Yeah, I remember. What's going on?
I've traced the meeting invitation, and it's coming from inside the computer.
Kendrick, what does that mean? Stop playing games with me.
Seriously, Kendrick, get a clue.
I know it sounds crazy, but whoever scheduled that meeting is inside your computer. And I don't know if you noticed this, but the meeting says it's with Death.
Emily had no time to respond to Kendrick's condescension. She looked at her laptop just as the clock turned from 11:59 to 12 p.m., and the entire screen went black, except for one notification. Meeting with Death. Now.
No!
Emily jumped up from her chair, but froze as a long, spindly finger attached to a decrepit, skeletal hand reached out from the computer screen. Before she could move a muscle, the holographic hand touched her forehead with one swift movement.
No! No! Help me!
Hello? Miss Soon-to-be-Dead? Are you still there?
But there was no answer on the other end.
Oh man, I'm gonna get fired.
Unlike Emily, Death always keeps an appointment. If you are being murdered as a guest in someone's home, I hope you are finding it hospitable. The host deserves your thanks for playing this record while they lull you into eternal sleep. Not everyone is so kind to their victims, and it is important to acknowledge these gestures that make your murder so much more enjoyable for both parties. For obvious reasons, be sure to tip your murderer as they go, rather than waiting until the end. And, if you still have time, do write them a good review. Reviews go a long way. The most famous review of a guest stay was written by one Jonathan Harker, of his time boarding at the castle of Count Dracula. Harker's review was a perfect example of how one bad review can torpedo a good host's reputation. Poor Dracula suffered for more than a century, unable to attract new guests when he so deeply loves playing host. Fortunately, in recent years, he has received many glowingly positive reviews on his Airbnb account. Here are some now.
Prime location. Beautiful view of the countryside. Local carriage drivers warned us not to stay there and wouldn't take us closer than within a mile. But we took a lift the rest of the way and it was fine. Felt bad because we got in super late, like after midnight, but Dracula was totally cool about it. Would stay again.
My wife and I stayed for our 20th anniversary. We told Dracula we were celebrating and he gave us a bottle of blood. It was great. He has excellent taste. We left looking and feeling as young as the day we met.
Me and a bunch of my buddies stayed for a weekend just to see if all the crazy stories we heard were even true. Did not disappoint. Some chicks climbed in our window the first night we were there. Dead sexy. I guess they were Dracula's brides, but they were all polyam or whatever. Great party spot.
The other reviews that said they couldn't leave of their own free will are BS. We got out no problem. Dracula even offered to prorate our stay when we had to leave a day early.
Had a hard time sleeping in the room with all the flies. Profile said the window shades were 100% blackout curtains, but I doubt it. At best, they were room darkening. Dracula let me sleep in his coffin, though, so it turned out fine. Other than that, no complaints.
Dracula lives it up. showed us the best nightlife spots. We went to this underground open mic night that was pretty hoppin'. Dracula even got up and did a set. We were worried it would suck, but he killed it. The dude's full of surprises.
Found a dead body our first night. It was pretty much a skeleton by the time we came across it. At first we were pretty freaked out, but then we figured it must be a pretty great place if they stayed that long.
Dracula's master. He came and stood below my window in the moonlight, and he promised me things. Must obey the master. He brings me nice, fat spiders to eat, and Wi-Fi hotspots.
That last one was from a super fan. And while there are plenty more positive reviews where that came from, well, you know how it is. For whatever reason, we always tend to focus on the negative. Pity. William Magotti was a computer programmer who spent most of his days at the computer programming office, programming computers. William lived alone in a one-bedroom cottage house, which was consequently empty most of the time while William was at work.
Home sweet home.
Late one evening, William came home from work to find his house less empty than when he left it. Dead tired from being a workaholic, William made his usual beeline to the bedroom. But he became frozen still as his eyes looked onto another set of eyes. There in the shadowy nook above his bedroom door, where the wall met the ceiling, a set of 8 eyes and 8 legs, all attached to one body. It was a spider, in case that wasn't clear. And of course, William did not actually make eye contact with the spider. Or if he did, there was no possible way that William could be sure, since the spider was rather small, and its 8 eyeballs even smaller. In fact, the spider was only just large enough to make its 8 legs distinguishable against the bland eggshell color of the wall. William yelped. And he wriggled and writhed and stuck out his tongue as he shouted at the spider to go away.
Shoot, go on, get out of here, go away.
The spider, not knowing English or having any reasonable way to understand William's demands, decided to stay put. William found this inaction to be terrifying, and he moved to more drastic measures. He hurled his car keys at the spider, and to William's surprise, he struck true. The car keys landed with a musical thud on the carpet, and beside them, the upturned spider. William snatched his car keys up from the ground and danced wildly once more to shake out the heebie-jeebies. He hovered over the spider to make sure it wasn't moving, blew on it to see if he could catch the spider playing dead. But there was no movement. William power walked to the bathroom, collecting a few squares of toilet tissues, and returned to the spider carcass with the intention to smush it up in the tissue and flush it down the toilet, even though it would be a dreadful waste of water.
Roach motels, now there's spiders.
But William found that the spider was gone. William looked around frantically to see if he could spot the spider limping away somewhere. Finally, he spotted it. The spider was exactly where he had first seen it, above the door to his bedroom. But it couldn't have been the same spider, could it? It looked to be twice as large at least. William wasted no more time thinking about it, and once again threw his trusty car keys at the wall, and smash! Again he nailed his target. Again the car keys fell to the ground, and again the upturned spider next to them. Already having tissue paper in hand, William moved quickly to pinch the spider up, making sure to feel the nasty carcass crunch as he did so, and then raced to the bathroom to flush the spider's body along with roughly 6 gallons of water. Somewhat relieved, William made his way back to the bedroom to finally get some sleep. But there it was again. The spider sat squarely above his bedroom door and surely doubled in size once more.
What in the world?
Now, up against a spider the size of a baseball, William took off his shoe and used it as sort of a catapult to launch his car keys at high speeds. Thwack! The car keys did their damage, splattering the spider against the wall before plopping to the ground, dead.
It's getting ridiculous. Unbelievable.
William ran to the kitchen to grab the broom and dustpan like an idiot.
Same spider?
But of course, by the time he came back, there was no dead spider. And instead, a much larger spider perched above the bedroom door, now the size of a small dog.
Oh, God.
William decided it was time to get serious.
No more messing around.
He took the broom, removed the bristlehead, and replaced it with his car keys, making a sort of key ring spearhead, which he used to skewer the horrid spider, which twitched and flinched its legs. William swiftly moved to the fireplace, plunging the spider on a stick inside, and started a fire with a quick light fireplace log available anywhere firewood is sold.
Found a use for this after all. There.
William watched the spider burn, cook, and disintegrate until there was nothing left but ash. Feeling foolishly confident that this would be the end of things, William gave a sigh of relief and made his way to the bedroom. And for the first time, William was able to make real, honest-to-God eye contact with 2 of the 8 spider eyes.
Oh, my God.
The spider was now nearly as big as William himself, covering half the bedroom door. As they locked eyes, the spider began to tremble and then suddenly lunged forward. William dodged and ran quickly into the kitchen, the spider moving with terrifying speed on his heels. William reached for the cutlery block and grabbed the butcher knife. The spider was upon William, slowly pulling him into its vice-like grip, gnashing at William with its fangs. William took the butcher knife and quickly began sharpening his car keys, squirming about as he did. Finally, when all the car keys on William's key ring were sharp enough, William bit back, figuratively, with the car keys. William made a fist with the razor-sharp keys between his knuckles and punched furiously into the spider like a hideous punching bag. The spider slowly ceased its snarling, but its grip was still firm around William's abdomen, and slowly the intertwined bodies tumbled to the ground, and William fell, unconscious. When he came to, he was alone on the kitchen floor. The butcher knife and his trusty weaponized car keys were there as well, but no sign of the spider. Could it all have been a dream, induced by extreme fatigue from overworking?
Just a dream.
Yes, that must be it, thought William.
William.
And he pulled himself up off the ground and made his way to the bedroom, but oh yes, by everything unholy, you better believe there was a gigantic spider waiting for him.
What?
The colossal spider now covered the entire door, its legs spanning from floor to ceiling. The spider's eyes were now as big as William's head and staring right at him. The spider startled and let out a spider shriek. The monstrous thing moved with deadly speed to stand tall in front of William, moving 4 of its branch-like legs to subdue him. And with the other 4 legs, the spider moved with gusto to the front door, opened it, and threw William outside into a bush. William, discombobulated, heard the front door slam shut and padlock click securely into place.
My own house. I live here.
Once William regained his orientation, he began peeking into the windows of his home, to which he was now unable to gain access. William saw nothing in the entryway, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, nor in the living room by the fireplace.
Where are you?
There was only one window left to check.
No.
William slid beneath the exterior of the window and slowly raised his head to peer inside his bedroom.
What?
And there inside was the grisly, oversized super spider laying in William's bed.
That should be me. That's my bed.
Softly beneath his sheets, sleeping soundly like a baby.
Greetings, my dear guests. I am your host, Evanescence, and welcome one and all to the Masquerade Ball. I see that you are all wearing your masks, an absolute necessity, in order to take part in this scandalous evening of debauchery. For with a mask, you remain anonymous as we flirt with the devil and indulge in sin and unholy amusements. Without a mask, we would reap the consequences of such behavior. But if death cannot see you, death cannot claim you. As you enjoy the evening...
Albert is dead!
What? What's happened?
Albert! He dropped dead just now. He was only standing there beside me.
Was he wearing a mask?
No, he took it off.
Well, there you have it. Don't be like Albert, and you'll be fine. The tradition of wearing a mask is centuries old. Our ancestors sought to combat mortality while satisfying wicked urges. They discovered that...
She's dead! Cecilia! She collapsed! She's gone pale and there's no pulse!
Now, let's hold on a moment. You there. Was Cecilia wearing a mask?
Yes, she was.
She was?
Oh, well, not at the time. She took it off because it was feeling itchy.
Okay, there you go. Keep your mask on to conceal yourself from death. That's exactly the point I'm trying to stress. The mask is not just for fashion. It comes along with the freedom to be someone else and to escape ultimate risks hidden in a powerful veil of...
Frederick!
Oh.
Frederick, he's dead! Oh, how could this happen?
Stop! Was he wearing a mask?
Yes, he was wearing a mask.
Was he wearing a mask at the time he suddenly died?
Yes, he was wearing the mask when he died.
Are you sure?
I'm positive he was wearing it. I mean, not on his face.
There it is.
Speak up now.
He was wearing it around his waist, because it made the long nose look like a big schlong.
People, take this seriously. Keep your masks on, so you will remain hidden from death. I cannot overemphasize this. It's not even a metaphor. Death is in the room right now. Standing right there. The one who's 7.5 feet tall in the black cloak, holding the scythe.
Hi, everybody. Take off your mask.
Yes, sorry, I should have made that clear earlier, but it's okay. As long as you are wearing your mask, he cannot take your life. Hey, don't crowd around him.
Come on, take off your mask.
Wait, why?
'Cause it might be fun.
No, stop. Don't listen to him.
Oh, it might be fun.
Yeah, it might be fun.
Do not take off your mask. It will not be fun. You will die.
I mean, you might die, but it might be fun. Just take off your mask. It'll be so fun.
I don't think so.
I'll do it if you do it.
I'm in.
Well, if you two are gonna do it, then I'm doing it. It sounds like fun.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's go. That was fun.
How do you do that so easily?
I don't know. Take off your mask.
No.
The sun is another classic horror situation I was in. I can't believe my luck, man, how does this keep happening? I think I've had enough, is it something that I'm doing? I made it through the night, but too bad all my friends are dead. I've survived the worst of it, the first zombie apocalypse, the curse of Mommy's tomb, the creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, Dracul, and Vince Clortho goes Zool. Busted up the ghost and all the gremlins and the ghouls, eradicated the faculty when aliens took the school, woke up from all the nightmares with that Freddy Krueger dude, and waited out the war between the vampires and the werewolves. I persevere through these nights, and yeah, it's cool not to die, but it would be twice as nice if there were anyone else alive so we could sit side by side and wonder how we both survived and watch the sun rise. The sun's always brightest on a horror movie morning, The last thing my girl Meg saw was a puzzle to saw her legs off to save her life from Jigsaw, and that was after the massacre, Texas Chainsaw. My buddy Max was axed in the back by his wife, Mrs. X. Sharp like a knife, she's exact, never misses an X. And speaking of Mike Myers, it seems like every Halloween I gotta bury my whole team. Last week I missed movie night with my regular group thing. Said see you tomorrow, now they're too dead to pick up when the phone rings. They were killed by Samara. My friend Paul was killed by this kid's doll named Chucky, but compared to what happened to Claire at the pet cemetery, consider him lucky. I made plans with my friend Jan to go running, but they were killed by the invisible man, never saw it coming. Some of my friends had kids, but they didn't live, because they didn't have the sixth sense to see that those bad seeds needed an exorcist. But for me, there was never a doubt. I lost my black guy friends because all their white girlfriends trapped them in relationships and they couldn't get out. My high school experience was ruined by Carrie. Not cool the amount of friends I had to bury. And the ones that weren't dead had their organs torn to shreds by a Demogorgon. It was scary. Sometimes the whole world feels like the upside down. It wears on my soul, but the shoe fits like a murderous clown. I'm used to it. At least my life isn't boring, but the night seems like an urban legend, because I'm always in mourning. The sun is always brightest on a horror movie morning,
I'm a son, let's have some fun. You seem so sad when I'm gone, so here I come. I'm a son when you are down. Your friends are dead, but we can turn the day around. Sorry you're sad, it's not that bad. Stick around a billion years and it'll pass. Just take a day, go on vacay. You gotta treat yourself and give yourself a break. Get through the night, you'll be alright. And you can soak in my sunlight. I'm here to give you what you need. A little bit of sunshine from me. And you can do with it just what you please. I wish my time with you would never end, and we would never have to part again. But it's getting late, I gotta go. But I wanna let you know you're not alone. Remember this, before I'm gone. The night is always darkest just before the dawn.
The sun is always brightest on a horror movie morning, The sun is always brightest on a horror movie morning, Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun.
This concludes our Danse Macabre. By this point, I imagine we've lost most of our audience. For those of you who have been murdered, I hope that you died laughing. If you were listening just for fun, I hope this experience made death a little less scary, if no less guaranteed. For death will someday find you. Whether in some Frankensteinian torture laboratory, a moment of fatal embarrassment, waking you out of what you thought was life, when you least expect it or when you most expect it because, to be fair, he did put an appointment on your calendar, or spoiling your weekend party, or in all those ways the horror movie guy just talked about. And when death does find you, I hope that he finds you well. Good night.